Are you struggling to bring the ball up?
Yeah, sometimes. But that's only old age. That ain't nothing to do with skill. That's nothing to do with pounding the ball. It's literally my knees are shaking.
Okay. Are you struggling to bring the ball up the court?
Or maybe you're new to basketball and you've been watching people do it and it just looks so easy.
Well, today we're breaking down the 4 fundamentals or foundations that are most important when it comes to being able to handle that rock.
No fancy drills, no crazy combination, just a real foundation.
Let's dive in. All right, so before we start, there are thousands of ball handling drills out there, but one of the things that we always kind of talk about is it's never really about the drill specifically, it's always about how you actually attack a drill. So you can use any drill on the planet, but as long as you're bringing the right intent to it and focusing on the right things, you can get the most benefit you can out of those drills. And so today's video is not so much about these are all the drills that we use, because we use a lot of drills, but it's about the qualities that we're training within the drills that we do and how we bring that intent to what we're doing.
The first one we're going to talk about is a pound dribble. So one thing I want you to understand about a pound dribble, you're trying to get the ball to the ground as fast as you can and back up into your hand as fast as you can. When the ball is not in your hand, and in between that space from the ball hitting your hand, that space right there is not good. So what we want to do is we want to have that ball in our hand for as long as we can, because that's when we're the most dangerous. And that's where you get the ball handling ability from. If I'm dribbling the ball slow and it's taking that ball time to get to my hand, you're not going to get the ball up the court. So a couple of things we need to talk about. We talk about snapping our wrists, and that's when we get through the ball here. We talked about the activation of the elbow. We're not all the way out here with it. We're nice and tight. With the dribble, we try to push the ball down as quickly as we can. And when the ball comes up, we try to catch it low and absorb the ball back into our hand. We're not slapping at it. We're not doing any of that stuff, okay? So throughout your journey, the pound dribble is probably your most important one, because you're going to use that for every drill that you do.
How did you develop your pound drill?
Hours and hours and hours of sitting there, stationary, pounding. First, again, for everybody, it's going to go something like this. Pounding, looking at the basketball. Then pound, look up a little bit, look back down. Then you get comfortable enough to just pound the ball and look forward.
It's interesting, like looking at the basketball to begin with is actually quite an important step.
Oh,
because, it allows you to get that hand-eye coordination feedback.
Yes.
People underestimate the feedback of looking at your hand and seeing what it's doing, especially when you're trying to improve your left hand or your weak hand. A lot of that comes down to being able to look at your right hand, do what your right hand does, and then try to mimic that with the left hand. And so it's not always about looking up.
Nah, especially when you have coaches or people who are going to tell you to look up when you first start dribbling. The reality is your brain hasn't literally sent the signal to your hand to come back to the brain to be like, oh, this is what I should be doing. So again, it is okay to look at the ball sometimes as you're doing your dribble, but it all starts with the pound dribble.
Developing that feel as we go.
Yes, developing that, and then you get to do it with defense on you. And the biggest thing is trying to make it efficient and as smooth and as natural as possible.
And that kind of takes us into our second quality, which, we start to talk about how we want to manipulate that ball into different directions. This is where you got your pocket dribbles, your turn dribbles, your push dribbles, pull dribbles. Being able to manipulate the ball onto either side, where, yes, we definitely know that that's a carry, but in terms of modern basketball and the way that people are handling the rock these days, you can get all the way to here, and as long as you're doing it smooth,
you get away with it.
No refs are going to call it. This is a very standard part of today's game, being able to take the hand from here to here on the basketball. And it's all about being able to add that next level of control, because when we're manipulating the ball into these moments, we're able to make better decisions because the ball is completely in control, ready to be sent somewhere, whether it's to our pocket through our shot, or across the floor to a teammate, or down back to the floor to make an aggressive dribble or something like that. So being able to manipulate the ball is our second foundational quality.
So how do you manipulate the ball?
As we receive that ball back to our hand here.
From the pound dribble?
From the pound dribble, absolutely. If we got a good pound dribble enough, that ball should linger through the force as we absorb it through. And then as we're absorbing it through, we're turning the hand in a direction that we need to bring it. Okay, that might be out here, it might be here, it might be over here. And as we're turning our hand, we're allowing that ball to linger and hang and control just a little bit longer before we put it back down.
Yeah, the biggest part of that control is obviously we're trying to keep it away from the defense, or we're trying to manipulate the defense to jump or move forward or to back up. And then you'll be able to get your shots, like Zac said, be able to, if they press up, be able to push, get in front of them, be able to push, create separation.
And that's also where the creativity starts.
Yes.
If you can go beyond that straight up and down dribble, and now you're starting to keep the ball in your hand longer, being able to bring it to different spots around your body, through space, attack different angles, that's going to allow you to now bring those creative forces in and do a lot more with the basketball towards the lines that you see the greats do it.
And the more you can do with the basketball, the more dangerous you're going to be on the court. And like we say, you always got to be in attack mode when you're playing at that higher level. Number 3 is body and stance. When you play basketball, your body's going to be put through a lot of different positions, a lot of different stances, a lot of different scenarios where you're going to have to get really wide to try to beat the defender. You're going to have to get really small and skinny to try to beat through gaps. Then you might have to get wide again after you get through that gap to be able to stop, change angles. You get into a pick and roll, if they hard show, you're going to have to get outside and then lower that shoulder to try to turn to get around them. It's so many different ways and angles that you're going to have to use your body and to get into gaps and to get into spaces where it all matters, right? Your feet, your stance, the way you attack the defense, it all matters. And the biggest thing for all of you is to get used to staying low and wide, get used to staying high and skinny, get used to dropping back low, get used to using your shoulders to protect yourself, get used to using your hips to bump off while you're pounding the basketball, and not stand in a closed position where, it's comfortable, I got to get here. Sometimes you have to open up so you can attack the defense. Sometimes you're going to have to get them on your hip and use your wide stance to bump with your hip and use your shoulder to create space.
So yeah, really understanding and training those different body positions, foot positions, stances. And this is all leading into our last one, which is being really comfortable moving in a whole variety of directions. Like if we got a good pound on our ball, we're able to manipulate it through control. If we're positioning our body right, we should be able to exploit space on the floor, either by attacking space, holding space, creating space by dragging back, being able to change direction quickly to get into gaps or to get around bodies, being really comfortable attacking forward, retreating back, floating to the side, even dribbling one way while looking the complete different opposite way. It's not always about going downhill, okay? A lot of players out there can only go downhill. It makes you predictable.
Yep.
It makes it easy to scout you and corner you into different spots on the floor that you're going to be weakest at. A lot of players will have tendencies. So as a ball handler, we want to be as adaptable as possible and be as comfortable as we can, breaking out in different directions, being able to attack into space, retreat out to space, and adding that another layer of depth to our ball handling.
And it's just being creative. And we talk about that. The players who can manipulate the ball, can see gaps, can make split decisions, that whole creativity is amazing.
Yeah, so if you are a beginner or you've been chasing that higher quality of ball handling, whatever drill you're doing, you're trying to maximize the speed at which the ball goes to the floor and back. You're trying to maximize your ability to manipulate the ball while it's in your hand. You're trying to maximize your body positioning and your stance and your feet and understanding where you can put yourself to be the most effective. And you need to be constantly moving. You need to be getting in different directions with the ball, being really comfortable moving around the court with the ball without losing your vision. So yeah, these are the foundations that we prioritize with our training, and that's how we've been able to take average ball handlers to really good heights with their ball handling, because at the end of the day, it's not about the drills that they're doing, it's about the intent that's behind those drills that they're working on.
The reality is what we said at the beginning, there are thousands and thousands of ball handling drills. I hope the 4 things that we gave you will help you understand that at least 1, 2, or 3 of my ball handling drills should have an aspect of that. Or you should start figuring out how to incorporate the speed, the manipulation, the body control, and the direction. If you're not doing that, or if they don't have that, the drill might be good, but you're literally just probably doing it for cardio. You're probably doing it just to get it done. So moving forward, guys, please utilize the 4 concepts that we gave you, adapt them, and become better ball handlers, because we want to see it. Thank you for joining in. Remember, this is Zach.
This is Carl.
Thank you.
Subscribe now.
Ding, ding, ding. We got to have that. We got to start having some subscribe and sponsors and all that stuff.